We are getting ourselves out of a funk today, friends. Are you in a funk? Have you been in one? This past weekend, okay, so it's a Monday when I'm starting this. And this past weekend, I don't know what it was, but you know how a funk is. Like, you don't know what brings it on. But they're just so weird because, like, for me, I feel like I thrive when I am busy doing things, when I have tasks to do. And I know it's not healthy for me to always be like worrying about getting things done, trying to be productive, which I love. Who doesn't love to be productive? But I know I have that issue where I always want to continue to be doing something. And so even on the weekends, we actually had a really low-key weekend, which can be really nice, but sometimes it's not. Because I like to stay busy, and I'm sure that's my own, like I said, it's my own issue where I need to be better about being okay just being. And, so I played with the kids and like did all of the things I would normally do anyway. And it was still enjoyable. There were pockets of the weekend that were great. But again, that's just how a funk is. Then you have those pockets that are just, you feel so unmotivated. You could do some things or you could just do, but anyway, I don't know why I'm explaining a funk to you guys. You guys know what it's like. So today we're getting out of that funk, or at least these next few days. So what I did this morning to kind of snap out of it, and this worked really well, I did an extreme, for me, run, like workout or walk, like maybe a longer walk than you normally would. So for me, I did over a 4-mile run, which I generally aim for like 3 miles when I'll run in the mornings, but this time I did 4. And you know what? It was amazing. It literally gave me energy, and I feel like so often when I'm working out, I don't feel like it's giving me energy, or you feel unmotivated, but I'm like, I'm just doing it. I know that my body will be so happy, and I'm so glad I did. So I feel like movement is one way I kind of get myself, or at least start to kind of rip the Band-Aid off of, okay, we're moving on. We're done being in a funk. We're done being unmotivated. And so that was great. Then I got a crock pot meal going in the oven. In the crock pot. And now I showered. I actually did my hair. I'm actually putting on real clothes. I feel like putting on an actual outfit can be huge. And so I'll show you my outfit here in a second. I'm gonna do my skincare routine this morning. I'm actually gonna be filming another video, like a sit down style video where I'm doing my makeup on camera. So I'm not gonna do that yet. Got my vitamin C, I've got like a brightening serum. I think part of my blah too was we had such nice, beautiful days weather-wise. And then it was followed by super stormy weather, really gray, rainy, so we couldn't go outside. So anyway, but I'm feeling good today. And hopefully if you're watching this and you're in a funk, or maybe you save this video for when you are, I don't know. Hopefully this gives you some ideas of things you can do, or maybe just a little bit of motivation. I'm realizing more and more when I feel in a funk, it's really just lack of motivation. That is the actual issue. And so when I actually take the time to figure out, okay, what do we want to do? Like if I'm feeling in a blah mood and I'm home with the kids, let's go to a park, or let's go to whatever it is, just get out of the house, force yourself to take that next step and take that next step. And then suddenly you're back in motion again. So this is me taking my next steps. Alrighty, we've got our outfit of the day. I'll link what I can below. I feel like a lot of this stuff I've had for a while. This, however, is one of my favorite things I think I've ever bought, and it's not very expensive. So I can link below, and they hit a bunch of colors. But all right, I'm gonna head into work, get some coffee, perhaps. I'm starting to feel the wheels turning, and I feel like once you get in motion, it just kind of keeps going. And I'm excited about that because I've been feeling like, am I starting to feel burnt out? And I'm like, I don't think that's what this is. I've definitely felt burnout before. I don't think that's what this is. I really do just think it's just one of those slumps and we can get past it. So I'm realizing how high the camera is. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I've got some eggs I'm eating. Another thing I feel like I've realized, and I kind of just touched on it, but I was just taking Pinocchio on a walk, is 2 things. One, when I'm kind of in that unmotivated area, I feel like a lot of times I'm being incredibly introspective and I'm not really thinking about people outside of myself. Like, what do my kids need right now? What does my husband need? What does my doggy need? Like, he needed a walk, so I just took him on a little walk. But not only that, I feel like the word I'm always looking for is inertia. I feel like I said earlier, when you start doing something, let me back it up. Have you heard of the 5-minute rule, where if you set a timer for 5 minutes and start the task that you're unmotivated to start, whatever it is, whether it's working out, whether it's something for work, whatever, a project for school, if you start that project for 5 minutes, odds are, like incredibly high, the odds are that you will just keep going after 5 minutes. And so that's the other thing. I feel like what that is inertia. You're setting it in motion, and then that motion just continues on. And then when you are successful at getting motivated to do one thing, that spills out into the next thing. And so I just wanted to share the word because it came to me when I was taking him on that walk. I was like, inertia. So I texted it to myself so I wouldn't forget. So I wanted to share it now before I forget. But anyway, so I've got that inertia going, baby. And we're going to keep riding this train as far as it'll take me. One thing I feel like can be kind of powerful in getting yourself out of a slump is to be a little bit more reflective and kind of thinking about perspective. You know what I mean? One incredible way to do this is with something like Storyworth. And I wanted to thank Storyworth for sponsoring today's video. I have actually used and gifted Storyworth to both of my parents, and we've gifted it to both of Tyler's parents. It has been such an incredible way to learn about their lives, their stories, their memories, and also their perspectives on life. And it's super easy. Storyworth will ask questions or give a thought-provoking prompt to your loved one to respond to. And I have to say, I have learned a lot about my parents thanks to Storyworth. Memories that they had that have never just come up naturally in conversation, but when these prompts were in front of them, they kind of like unlocked memories for them, which was so cool to read. So at the end of the year, it all comes together in a beautiful keepsake hardcover book. They can add photos to it if they'd like. It is such a beautiful treasure to have in your family. And I also love that you can actually order more of the books at the end of the year. So if you wanted to gift that memoir basically to someone else in your family that you know would treasure it, that's yet another gift idea that is so cool. I have to say too, because I've used Storyworth for quite a few years now, I feel like they do a really good job keeping things simple. It's accessible to everyone, whether they want to write out their responses or dictate them. Some of my favorite prompts that have garnered the most interesting responses from our loved ones have been things like, what were you like when you were 30? Or what was your dad like when you were a kid, or your mom? Another one I feel like that kind of relates to this video is, when in your life did you feel the most alone? And what gave you strength during those times? What pulled you through it? And I mean, they're really, you guys, it was hard to even dwindle down which examples I wanted to give here, because there are so many beautiful questions and prompts that I loved reading and I've read over and over again. I feel like it can be really uplifting when you yourself are kind of in some kind of slump for one reason or another, just to read about someone you love, their challenges in their life and their joys and how they've overcome them. And it definitely fosters a new level of connection and love with that person, which I think is so special. Mother's Day and Father's Day will be here before you know it, of course. Storyworth is an awesome gift idea, truly, for Mother's Day, for Father's Day. If you're gifting to someone that you feel like they have everything, this is a really unique and thoughtful gift. And it doesn't have to just be your parents or grandparents. It can be your spouse, your friend. It could be a gift to yourself. If you've always wanted to journal, but you kind of feel like you need that kind of guidance, Storyworth is perfect for that. So you can get $10 off your year-long Storyworth subscription and hardcover book by scanning the code that is on the screen right now, or you can go to the link in my description box and in a pinned comment. Thank you again to Storyworth for being a sponsor of today's video. Okay, I feel like another way to get yourself out of a funk, this is for me personally, is to give myself a reward. So sometimes the reward is, and I think I might have mentioned this earlier, is as simple as like, okay, if I get this project done, or if I work on this for X amount of time, or I get outside, whatever it is I'm needing to get out of, I'm allowed to go buy myself a fancy coffee, or I'm allowed to go buy, why are these all buying things? I don't know. But you know what I mean? Give yourself something that you would genuinely like. So I went and got my nails done because I filmed this, I'm filming this vlog you're seeing over the course of a couple of days. And I ended up filming many things that needed to be filmed that I was kind of postponing, that I've been wanting to, but I knew they would take a little bit of extra time and effort. And so my reward was I can go get my nails done in a bright springy color. Well, actually almost kind of summery, but makes me so happy. So I just did that. So I'm heading home to get a little more work done, but I was just kind of excited about the color. It's making me so, so happy. It makes me think of these roses that we have that bloom later in the summer, that they are this, I swear to you, exact color. They are so vibrant and so beautiful that I almost can't even comprehend how they could be this bright. And so every time I've ever got my nails done this type of color, it makes me happy. Go paint your nails a bright, happy color that you love. And I also should say that, you know, obviously I'm talking about some very superficial kind of silly things. Sometimes that can help, but I also can recognize that, you know, we already talked about the distinction between, you know, not just a funk, but something deeper mental health wise. But sometimes little things like that really can brighten your day and make you feel a little more pulled together, a little more motivated. So even though sometimes superficial things sound silly, sometimes they're beneficial. Sometimes they're useful. Like grabbing a coffee and walking around your favorite store is absolutely a reward to me. And it definitely turns my mood around. Ooh, especially if it's like a bookstore. Walking around a bookstore always puts me in a good mood. So we are at a park with the kiddos and our doggy. And I feel like this is another one of those things that when the weather's not nice or it's winter and you can't get outside, I feel like I mean, I know it affects me. I'm sure it affects some of you guys. Like not being able to get outside or get fresh air really does affect my mood. And so when there is a day where it's even kind of nice, just getting yourself outside. So that's what we're doing. This day is actually very nice. When I'm filming this, it's like just the beginning of spring. And this is a weirdly warm, like 69-degree day. So we are at a park walking and enjoying it. But I always like to bring up how important walks are and how important just fresh air is. I know when I've struggled with a lot of things, one of the only things that would help pull me out genuinely were walks. Whether they were alone, whether they were with my family, whatever. But I just feel like there's something weirdly medicinal about going outside and going for a walk, you know. Can't wait till all these trees start actually having leaves on them. It'll be so beautiful. That bird. Look how big these trees are. I'm like, I can't even give you a point of reference. Like I have never seen an evergreen this wide. Yeah, Tyler's gonna give us a little, like, think about what an evergreen would typically, massive. That's incredible. Okay, so good morning. It's 6:41. I think I like injured my shoulder. When I tell you getting older is not for the faint of heart, okay? Because I'm telling you, I was laying in bed when suddenly I hurt my shoulder. Somebody explain that to me. I like literally was laying and I like slightly turned over and boom, just pain. So it doesn't feel too bad. I do have a physical therapist massage. It's like one of those places that does like 3 or 4 things in one that I've gone to when I've hurt my back. So I might make an appointment with them. So I have, however, kept this promise to myself to work out 5 days a week. I've talked about it a lot. I know some of you guys are rolling your eyes. So I'm gonna do something that doesn't involve my shoulder at all, which is maybe some like ab workout on the floor, like 10 minutes of that, maybe a power walk or something, but nothing too fast where I need to like kind of engage that area too much. So my guess is I had already like hurt it a little bit and then just made like doing maybe too strong of a weight, not the right perfect form, you know what I mean? So anyway, I would be okay. But what I really came on here to say, thinking of this video, is I had this realization last night before my shoulder hurt that, you know, I don't want this video to come across as like, if you're in a funk, you need to be productive and then you will feel better. Because like I mentioned, I have an issue with always wanting to be productive and needing to be better about living in the moment and being okay with that and not feeling guilty when I'm not productive as well. So just a big old gray area, right? And so I wanted to bring up the importance of doing those things that are for you, that aren't necessarily something to be checked off a to-do list. And I do think that for a lot of us, it can be really hard to almost, I think it would take years. It is taking me years to retrain my brain to be okay with that. And sometimes when I'm in those moments of actually trying to be present, like this past weekend when I felt like I was in a funk, I feel like that was my brain wanting to be productive and battling, trying to be okay with just being in the moment and relaxing. And does that make any sense? I don't know. I've probably over-explained it at this point. So I'm going to do some sort of workout because I know it'll set me up for success for the day, even if it's not my best workout in the world. I heard this rule recently that was like, I don't remember exactly what the numbers, I think it was the rule of thirds, where it's like a third of your workouts are going to be okay, a third of your workouts are going to be just bad, and then a third of your workouts are going to be really, really good. And if you're kind of hitting the thirds, then you're probably doing it right. Like that's definitely how I've been feeling. So today is going to be a really low key, doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to be a good workout, I guess, but it's going to be a really low key workout day. So let's do it. One thing I feel like I can improve upon, and it is something that really does elevate my mood every single time, is finding other times in the day that I can pray or read the Bible. Maybe for you that looks like journaling or meditating, whatever it is. I feel like I usually am great about doing it in the evening before bed. Sometimes I'll think to do it in the morning, but finding even just 5 minutes at a weird part of the day, that alone, I feel like it can make me feel more inspired. It definitely makes me feel comforted. It makes me feel convicted in things in life and, where I'm headed. And sometimes I think that perspective, like I said, whatever that looks like for you, but that perspective shift honestly is maybe one of the biggest things I can do to elevate my mood, to get out of a funk, and just to be more present. And so I've got my Bible here. Another little tip I have is to, whatever it is you're trying to do, whether it's something like this, whether it's, our doggy wants out. Hold on. He said, hey, I didn't know you were outside, Mama. So I just feel like whatever it is you're trying to do, another tip is to change your location. Literally. So I never read the Bible or pray outside, and at least not to my knowledge. And I feel like just this kind of different thing is really inspiring to me, but also working. If you're trying to get some work done and you're always doing it in the same spot, or maybe you're working from home and you always do it at home, if you have the ability to go sit outside or go to a park and work, go to a coffee shop, a library, whatever that looks like, I feel like just that change of scenery can be huge too. So I'm gonna read just for 5 minutes. Like, we're gonna do that 5-minute rule where if you do it for 5 minutes, you tend to do it a little bit longer. I have been reading through the Bible in a year. I mean, it's taken me over a year, but you know, I am in 1 Samuel. Oh, you know what? I'm just kidding. I'm in 2 Samuel. I just realized yesterday that's where I was reading. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it either helped you get out of a funk, maybe gave you a little inspo if you're just feeling unmotivated. Maybe you're just watching for entertainment and just to hang out, and that's cool too. I'm so glad you watched all the way to the end. If you did watch it all the way to the end, just out of curiosity, post an emoji that is the color yellow. I feel like yellow is just a happy color. Post any emoji you want that's the color yellow. Post 3 of them and I'll know you watched all the way to the end. I want to also thank today's video sponsor, which of course was Storyworth. So again, you can get $10 off your year-long Storyworth subscription and the hardcover book. Just click the link in my description box. I'll also have the QR code there on the screen for you. If that's easier, you can scan it and check it out. Thank you again to Storyworth. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy this style of video, hanging out together, I do all kinds of vlogs here on my channel. I'd love to have you subscribe and stick around for more. Check out some of my other stuff, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, friends.